Do you ever list an overpriced home just to get your name on the sign? Why would you do that to yourself and the seller?
I would say yes and no. Qualify your seller, right? If your seller says, I don't have to sell, but I want to sell, and I'll move when I have to, where do you think you want to move? I'm not sure yet. That's not a motivated seller. I don't want that seller. What I would do is I'd take down that information, I'd give it to an agent in my office, I'd get a referral fee, and go spend my time working on real, true sellers. But if I knew, based on my pre-seller qualification, which I'll link it up down here so you have the questions to ask, what I would do is I would ask them to see how motivated they were. I never took an overpriced listing knowing that, guess what, they were never going to come to reality. I never wanted it more than my client wanted it. Very simple. I work by referral. If Jen and her husband sold their house for 40, 60, 80, 100 grand less than I did, they're not going to refer me. What are they going to say? You got to use Tyler. We listed our house at 500 and he sold it at 440. Win. No, that's a loss, right? I look horrible now. No one goes, you have to use him because guess what? He's going to give you a price reduction of 30% of your house or 20%. It's not going to work. If you're going to work by referral, do your research, qualify your seller, make sure it's a true seller, and then decide, should I take this listing or not, right? I would go up to listing presentations. I would say, hey, I'm here for you to interview me to see if I'm the agent you want to serve, and I'm here to interview you to see if you're the seller I want to work with. And they'd look at me a little crazy. And you know what I'd say? I don't work with everyone. You generate so you don't have to tolerate. And when someone wants to list their house over, I'm not in the ego business. It may look like it sometimes to you folks, but I'm not in the ego business of I need to have all the listings, even if they're overpriced, because eventually the seller might lower the price and eventually a buyer may buy it. Not happening. I'm out because I don't have time to waste on overpriced listings. Only time I would ever do that is if you saw motivation, they were maybe relocating, you knew that, guess what? They're having a baby and it's cooking, and if they don't buy a new house, they're gonna be having like 5 beds in one room. That's how I would know, right? That's a motivation of they may not be at the price I want now, but they're going to. Further, in some states, I don't know all states, but in California, I would do automatic price reductions. So if it was listed at 500, I'd say within 30 days, it's gonna go to 490 and then 480 and 475, whatever that may be. So automatic price reductions would sometimes make me take an overpriced listing where I knew we already had baked in the price reduction of their house to eventually where I told them it was priced. I think it's bad to take an overpriced listing just to get your name out there, to get your sign, hoping you're going to pick up buyer leads. It's a way of business. I'm not knocking it because you can do business, but I'm telling you it's a crappy way of doing business because if you work by referral, no one's going to refer you for selling them their house so much lower than what it's listed for. And why waste all that time and energy when you can do it with a client who's motivated and you can get referrals from? Pretty simple.